It has just been reported that Radim Vrbata and the Arizona Coyotes have agreed to a one-year deal with a base salary of $1 million. Of course, this deal is going to have a bit of bonuses as well, which means that if Vrbata does achieve a certain amount of success, he'll get a little bit more, bling-bling. But really, I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people are thinking, yeah, man, one by one for Arizona, that's amazing. That's a really good deal, and I have to agree. Vrbata, we all know Verbata's story here with Vancouver, because I'm a Vancouver guy. I've been in Vancouver for quite a bit. I've been cheering for the Canucks for a long time, and Vrbata has been in the midst of this Canucks team and their direction and everything. So, Vrbata signs a 2-year, $10 million contract for the Vancouver Canucks a few years ago. He plays out the first year. He gets great numbers, 60 points, 30 goals with the Sedins. Then the next year comes around, he says in the interviews, yeah, I want to play with Bo Horvat. Good guy right here in Horvat. It's a good line mate. And really just this team last year, Vrbata and Horvat, they were an okay pairing, but Vrbata just could not score. His goal totals dropped. He got himself 13 goals, 14 assists, 27 points. He was a minus 30. Horvat was also a minus 30. They were like at the bottom of the league in terms of plus minus, and I know plus minus is the damned stat. Some people take it very seriously, others don't at all because of the contents and the makeup of the stat, but really, minus 30 for Horvat and Vrbata, that pairing was just not that good together, especially since Vrbata, he got 13 goals and he was still playing on the power play at times, and, you know, it's just disappointing to see, and really, the Canucks were paying $5 million for a guy who didn't even get 30 points. So, really, Vrbata, at the end of the season, there was some passive-aggressive comments made in the press conference and everything, and it was obvious at this point, yeah, there's no way he's gonna re-sign with Vancouver, up until earlier this month, where there were some reports that Benning was trying to sign Yuri Hudler or Radim Vrbata, and everyone was just like, Vrbata, okay, if we can get him for 1 year cheap, then this would be a good deal. But instead, Radim Vrbata agrees to a 1-by-1 contract with the Coyotes. And, you know, he's had a long tenure with the Coyotes. He's had a good career with the Arizona Coyotes. He's had some good seasons with them. And it would be cool to see him coming back because the Coyotes, they've got a young team. They're doing the youngins to veterans thing correctly. Well, not that the Canucks aren't doing it correctly. You know, the ownership is all like, we want playoffs, and then Benning's like, no, we want to get younger. But then the ownership's like, we own you, so make the playoffs. And then the Canucks are like, okay, we'll just try to make the playoffs and also try to get younger. But Arizona, you know, their GM, a few years ago, he admitted, yeah, I was tanking for McDavid. So what they got out of that big tank is a center core of Martin Hanzal, Dylan Strome, and Brad Richardson, which is a good pairing. Brad Richardson was one of the best PK guys on the Canucks when he was with the Canucks a few years ago. And then Martin Hanzal, he's the good guy down the middle. He's the first-line center. Of course, Canucks fans hate him because he injured like 3 of us in the same game, something like that. But that line of Domi, Hanzal, Duclair, that's a pretty good darn line. And Vrbata, coming off of this atrocious season, 12 goals and 27 points. It's not a risk. A 1-for-1 deal for a top 6 guy, a guy who could play the top 6. He had an off year playing with Bo Horvat. Bo Horvat was the youngin who was forced into the second line position because Sutter was gone for the whole season. But Vrbata, I can see Vrbata slotting in on that second line, alongside youngins Christian Dvorak and Dylan Strome. Think of that line, Dvorak, Strome, Vrbata. The 2 youngins coming straight out of the OHL, and Radim Vrbata, the experienced, dirty, grit veteran, who is on that right side with that right-handed shot, providing that leadership and support for the 2 young guys on his sides. That's just great. Not to mention the Coyotes with that bottom 6, McGinn, Richardson, Shane Doan as well, because you got Shane Doan. Toby Reeder can also slot in somewhere, and really you just got yourself a team that looks pretty good without Mikhail Bodker, and still you got Ekman Larsson on the back end, and then Mike Smith, well, who knows about Mike Smith these days, but really, Vrbata 1-for-1 for the Coyotes. I think this is a good deal, and I think the Coyotes are going to get a bit of surprises out of Vrbata, because I don't think Vrbata is poor enough to get 13 goals, 14 assists, and 27 points 2 years in a row. I know he's like 35 or whatever, but he's still got some juice left in the tank, and I'm willing to see what he'll be able to do alongside guys like Dvorak and Strome. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. For posting to the down, like and subscribe, and gaming, and bye.